The opening scene of My Hero Academia's episode 6 explains how the heroes were able to get around All for One's peculiar lie detector. We go back in time to the time when All Might paid Midoriya and his classmates a visit. The strategy to defeat the baddies was explained to them. Since All for One could only speak with Aoyama's parents over the phone, they made use of Hitoshi Shinso's peculiar method of brainwashing. Shinso, who you may recall from the UA joint training battle, was unable to use his unusual ability to order people to perform tasks requiring higher-order thinking, such as writing and speaking. But now that he trained under Eraserhead, he could command people and get them to say what he desired. Aoyama and his parents were under his authority, thus even though they were lying, they managed to avoid being discovered by All for One. They made use of Nito Monoma's copy quirk in order to split up the villains, which is necessary for the heroes to prevail because of their small numbers. Kurogiri's warp gate, who was imprisoned, was created by him using his peculiarity. We return to the current battle, as heroes come together via the warp gates of Monoma. The baddies assault right away, but unexpected obstacles confine them. The villains are to be isolated and imprisoned in different blocks. The blocks are moved to various locations by the heroes when they force them through Monoma's warp gates. But in an instant, Midoriya, who is meant to be facing Shigaraki, is drawn into an alternate gate. It is discovered that Himiko is the offender. Shigaraki is now propelled by an electromagnetic barrier to a floating UA. Best Jeanist is notified by Bakugo that Midoriya is not present. Even when Shigaraki utilizes his decay on the ground, they continue to combat him, only to discover that the decaying block floats away. He learns from Best Jeanist that the floating UA is known as Coffin in the Sky and was created especially to battle Shigaraki. On the ground, Cementos and Yaoyorozu, Creati, have utilized drone technology to use blocks, while they are working to replace the deteriorating blocks with new ones. Students at another floating workplace generate electricity to power the electromagnetic barrier. He also says that Hatsum, a 16-year-old pupil, created and carried out the entire design. She was working feverishly on this job when Midoriya and Ida came to replace their equipment. Shigaraki tries, but is unable, to employ his powers. Monoma at a distance and Eraserhead are the ones to blame for this. Eraserhead is unable to fully utilize his quirk because he lost his eye. This is where Monoma enters the picture, repeatedly violating Eraserhead's 10-minute copy limit by staying in constant physical contact with him and replicating his quirk. Everything appears to be going as planned until Rabbit Hero Mirko leaps enthusiastically at Shigaraki. Although Shigaraki's body wasn't fully formed in the previous encounter, they still believe they can defeat him. She kicks Shigaraki, and he immediately changes his body and attacks Mirko with several hands. The review of the episode. This was such a thrilling episode. They have a much better chance of defeating All for One and his horde of evildoers thanks to the brilliantly designed hero approach. The key explanation for the hero's ability to deceive All for One and surprise the adversaries with such a huge bluff was provided in this episode. Two previous characters from the joint training battle, Shinso and Monoma, were also shown to us. This shows that not only were they able to hone their skills, but that the concept and hierarchical structure of hero versus hero support fully collapsed when needed. Through the utilization of each person's unique characteristics, regardless of their size, the heroes were able to construct an enormously complex scheme. This episode demonstrates that the stars are not the only heroes, the development crew and hero support are on par with them. There is undoubtedly a valuable life lesson concealed within the happenings in this episode.